Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the You've Already Peaked Gaming Podcast. A fanfare of applause featuring your co-host, Locarthemanbeast, and the continually hungover LobsterDust.
That's
Hey,
good.
bud.
Hey, man.
It's like all the energy I had.
I was going to say,
Carrying the rest of this podcast.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Hey, you look surprisingly well for being as miserable as I was expecting you to be.
What you can't see is the 3 empty bottles of Pedialyte behind me.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was prepared for the hangover. I feel like I've remedied it. Well, yep.
Ramamadi? Yeah.
Ramamadi.
Ramamadi.
See an enemy.
Yeah.
I didn't drink that much last night, but it was kind of like hangover.
Yeah.
Just like pick me up a little bit. Let's not take it all the way back. There was a moment when we were playing Overwatch that I went to go get some more White Claws and I saw a bottle of tequila and I kind of had that dewy, but no. Cooler heads prevailed.
That's the sign of getting old.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm okay. All right. It's been it's fucking Tuesday and it feels like it is, I don't know, like Friday. I will tell you though. Okay, so I got off. I don't know what time. I can't remember what time you got off last night.
Like 12:30.
Yeah. So we played a couple more games. I think we finally called it quits around 2:30ish. And I was like, okay, I gotta go lay down because I've been up fucking way too late. I'm gonna try and get some sleep. Past couple nights, I've been getting like 2-3 hours of sleep. I'm like, okay, time to like actually lay in bed and try and push the sleep. So I like crawl into bed at like 2:30, 2:45, whatever time it was. I pass out, and I had the wildest fucking dream. I haven't dreamt in fucking years. I never hit REM, right? So I had a dream, and it woke me up at 4:45 in the morning. I fucking sat up straight in bed. And it was the weirdest thing. It wasn't a lucid dream, but it was just like so vivid. So it was like a bunch of people that I knew. We were on like a space station, but it was like a city, but we were in like the college portion of the city. So it was all like tiered levels and things like that, but it was like a frat thing. And so Cliff was there. Bobby, of all people, was there. But he was like super yoked out from being like police. Like, I mean, like, you know, Bobby's got like that size and figure or whatever, but he was like Arnold Schwarzenegger yoked out.
Yeah, he was cut, not brick shit ass.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is going on? So anyway, I like, there was a point in the dream. It's hard to remember. There was a point in the dream where like Cliff was like Naruto running through like through like rock pavement or some shit like that. It ended with like a gang shootout or whatever, and that's when I woke up. I woke up like swinging, and I was like, it was the most bizarre. I just remember, oh God, I can't even fucking. There's a point where I was laying on the couch in my dream, and this kid, I could hear this kid talking to somebody else, like, we gotta go out, we gotta party, like, you gotta get ready, we gotta go. He's like, no man, I don't want to go. I'm not trying to go out. And he was like, no man, you gotta go. It's gonna be ballin'. And it was just like repeated that over and over. It's gonna be ballin' in my dream. And I just woke up like, what the fuck is going on right now?
I also had a weird dream last night.
Yeah?
I had like Chris Evans, like sex symbol body, like just absolutely cut.
Mm-hmm.
But I was covered, like full sleeves, tattoos, but all of my tattoos sucked. I mean, like, yeah, and you know, like when you're in a mirror and like I lifted like my shirt up and I had this like tattoo right here, and you know when like you see writing and you go to like read it, but all of a sudden it doesn't, like the letters aren't there. But like it was like something to the effect of "this guy's a douche," like tattooed on the side of me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And, like I was trying to look at it, and then there was just like arrows like pointing like up at me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I had like the like a girl, like those Hawaiian flower tattoos, like as a tramp stamp, and just flowers going all the way up my back. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why would I get this tattoo? Fucking, I think I had like a Care Bear on my hand. I was like, I can't do this. I'm in the medical field. I will get me a job. Like,
It's kind of
it
a
was just
dope
like
idea. I'd have a Care
it was
Bear.
such a concern for me, like, because I was like, I looked at the mirror, I was like, holy fuck, I'm shredded. And then I started looking at all the tattoos, and like the more I looked, like the worse they got. And all of a sudden nothing mattered. I've never been so glad to wake up and still be overweight.
So if anybody's watching, and you know what sleep dreams mean, fucking hit us up, because
or don't. I
yeah,
do not know.
no, I want to know. I don't want to go back to bed. That's how weird it was. I woke up this morning and I was just like, I sat wide awake, and like I wasn't like in a cold sweat, but like you could tell like the adrenaline had started pumping in the body, so like I sat wide up, and then I was like, it's like 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like, fuck, I just want to go back to bed. Like, sure shit, couldn't go to sleep. So I just fucking sat in bed all morning. But then my head was like, where did this fucking come from? I'm losing my mind. Oh, God. So
Overwatch.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I think trying to learn hungover and trying to be re-drunk was rough.
Yeah.
It was fun, but like, you guys like, you need to do this, hey, you should try this, and I'm literally like, I'll press the F key, and I'm like looking at my keyboard like while I'm playing, like not paying attention, like I'm not gonna press that fucking key, man. I was it was a high energy group. It was fun.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up.
I that's usually when those guys play together, that's how it is. Like, they go high energy. And it's like, and it was all night, and like Cliff will get to that point too, where like, as the end of the night, we're all starting to have drinks, and we can all tell like we're kind of getting a little drunk. There's still a couple people who don't drink, so they're still high energy, and we're all just like, I just don't want to lose any more
guys.
I don't want to lose any more fucking games. Just fucking like kills.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I mean,
fun, though.
for a small group of people, six people. I think we only had 5, but that's a fun little knock around game for a couple hours.
Yeah.
It's no Apex, but
I mean, it has Apex qualities.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Apex took a lot of those qualities. That idea that the hero shooter type of game where you have your class
turn into a BR.
Yeah, I mean, you could at least see some of the elements. You see a lot of characters that kind of mirror Overwatch in a little bit. So maybe that's where it came from. Maybe they just pulled it out of thin air. They didn't copy anybody. Maybe nobody in this industry copies anybody.
Yeah, I know.
It's
like Call of Duty. They just all of a sudden have these balloons that take you up and let you cutting new ideas just coming out of there. Just happens to be a weird coincidence.
Oh, or like on the new map, like the plane will be crashing or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So you see that in like Call of Duty. Is it Call of Duty? Yeah, I think it is. Where like the plane crashes in the new map. I went back and I figured out that I think PUBG has a map that the plane crashes in, but they did it like 6 months earlier or some shit like that. So, all right, guys.
Eventually, it's just going to be like slightly different skin versions of the same game, and we're already like this close away from it. It's like, instead of an M4, you've got a fucking flatline or something like that. Like, it's all basically the same.
They just call it 1, 2, 3, 4 in every game.
Yeah. Fucking. Oh man.
Yeah. It's like the streaming services, man. Like, streaming services have gotten so bad. Like, someone made a comment. I was like, in the next like 10 years or whatever, all the streaming services are going to come together and be like, we're not going to compete anymore. So what we'll do is we'll just put all of our streaming services into one platform. And then that way that everybody can just pay one money and it all comes to us. And then instead of, being able to pick and choose, we'll just block out a set of time where like certain things will just play. And so it was like, so you're going to go full circle into cable again?
Yeah. Fucking. Pretty close though, man.
Oh man, yeah.
We're getting there.
If cable could pull its head out of its ass, I would get rid of all of my streaming services. Because Netflix was dope in the beginning. Like, remember back in the day when you get DVDs sent to your house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically you could still do that.
Yeah, you have to have like
I don't
some
know who the fuck would do it. I don't.
my
I guess
dad
my PlayStation can read a, a
my
DVD,
dad
but like,
does. My dad does. So he's got like the grandfather account or whatever that allows him to still get DVDs. So he has DVDs shipped to him, right? So and I'm like,
from a wife.
yeah, and I'm like, why?
So I'm getting all of the dollars worth of this
Well,
subscription.
he's been doing this shit for like I don't know, 15 years now at this point. He
Yeah.
just gets the 3 DVD sent to him, fucking puts them in his hard drive or in his computer, burns them to a disc, sends them back, and then he's just got stacks of DVDs all over his
Yeah.
apartment. I'm like, all right, whatever makes you happy, man.
Oh, you're gonna have to like bleep that whole thing out. The FBI is gonna raid your dad for fucking. He just sitting there getting his DVD, just boom, door kicks in. We heard about you on a podcast with 4 viewers.
He's hooked up to a dialysis machine, just like trying to get away.
Oh man.
Oh God. Oh yeah, man. Well, in the gaming world, there's not really a whole lot of shit going on right now. I'm actively trying not to have a conversation, but I'm gonna break it right now. I was gonna try not to talk about Elden Ring.
I almost brought up Elden Ring, like just now too.
The only reason I wanted to bring it up though is because you see that it has lost like a majority. So when it released, and this is typical for any single player game in that aspect.
Yeah,
I don't think that this is that outrageous, but everybody looking at it like as game of the year and as the best game ever, blah 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 type of thing. And then it went from like what was it, almost 1 million concurrent players on Steam during its initial launch, and I think now it's down to like 90,000 players.
oh, they'll release that DLC and the numbers will be right back up.
Exactly, I agree. But it is interesting to see that like those numbers have squished so hard. Now that's on PC. I'm assuming console players are still fucking non-stopping that game because there's nothing on console. There's literally there's Horizon Zero Dawn, and
that's only PlayStation, right?
Yeah, I guess yeah. So then Elden Ring alone. I don't think there's anything coming out for console lately.
I think Steam numbers aren't the end all be all. I think it's a good indicator of like a PC platform, but
sure. I also think like it's a good indicator because the concurrent player list is really the only active player count list that you can really find unless companies are releasing those numbers themselves. And then how do you actually believe those numbers without the inflation, right? So like Steam is the only real good way of being able to justify if something is like working or not sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I like seeing it though too. Like that's why I've been following the Battlefield because like every fucking week those numbers just keep going down and down. It's like there's gonna be 10 people playing that game in the next month.
I was thinking about Elden Ring, and I was gonna bring up Elden Ring, even though we tried not to talk about Elden Ring because so far all we do is talk about Elden Ring. But I was watching people play it, and I think I was telling you last night, like where she like lets him go up and he just gets fucking pummeled by a fucking trebuchet.
Yeah.
And just like in one shot, and she's like, like she's laughing and I'm laughing and everybody's like kind of like laughing. And I missed that. And I was all, man, I wonder when the next one's gonna come out. But like not like the next Elden Ring, but like the next like big game.
Yeah.
That's gonna make me feel that way and give me that excitement.
Yeah.
But then also it's like, come on, dude, you just got a fresh shipment of new games. You got the better part of a decade to fucking wait on something great to come around again.
You know what's fucking funny is that what I end up doing a lot with video games is I go hard into something for a while. You know, and I supplement it with a ton of other games. I play a lot of games and I mix it up. Every day I'm playing something different just because it keeps it fresh and interesting. There's very few times a game comes around like Elden Ring where you just waste your life, right? You sit down and in the course of like a few weeks, you pump out 300 hours into the game, right? Back to back to back. You don't even look at anything else. You know, you forego sleep, you try and quit your job just to come home and play it. Like, you know what I mean? There's very few games that come out like that. And then after that initial period of that game, I find that's the depression point. Because I'm just cycling through fucking catalogs of games. I'm just like, I'm
Yeah.
looking for anything to stick. I'm looking at games. I'm like, is there an itch? Do I have an itch for that? Okay, let me play this. And then I download 10 of that fucking genre and I just play each of the games until something sticks. And then when something sticks, I'm like, okay, this is kind of fucking dope. I'll stick around for this for a little bit. You know what I mean? I got really big into this space exploration, like space sim games. And so, yeah. I played Elite Dangerous for like, I bought like a fucking flight stick and everything for Elite Dangerous. Like, I've got a VR set so I can fucking put my head in it and sit around and do VR.
Yeah.
Like, and it's dope. It's amazing, but it's super grindy. It's super hard to get into. And I had it on PS4, and then that's kind of like lost its value because the PS4 is so far down. So I was going to swap all my stuff over to the PC's version because I have that one as well.
Yeah.
But you don't get to keep all your ships and everything. You can only transfer your total net worth or whatever. So it's like, fuck, dude, it's so much grind to like take that money and then like go find the ships and all these different things. And like getting back out to the points where you need to get your ships, I'm like, I think I'm going to pass on regrinding that. So I got Star Citizen.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You're in deep waters, my friend.
Yeah, dude. This is like this is when I'm starting to like shoot the tracks in between my toes so nobody notices. But
no, this is. I don't know a lot about Star Citizen, and I'm sure that you know more than me. But from what I've heard from other people, is people have literally spent like 80 to 100,000 real dollars on these like ships and stuff, and like just like they slide away so fast. Okay. It's like it just starts.
Okay.
Buy it. Okay.
So
do you have a credit card that Audrey doesn't know about attached to this game?
Got a few of them. Okay. So 2 things that I found out while researching the game, because I was really interested in playing it, but I was like, I am not going to let this become a fucking money sink. Like I want to play the game, and if backing the game gets you a ship, gets you a fucking in the game or whatever, and you don't have to spend another dollar, can I justify spending the money that I would have spent on some other title, a $45 to $60 title? Would that be justification to at least play the game? So I did some research. First off, this fucking piece of shit has made $400 million in alpha. It's not even released. $400 million. Okay. So first off, with $400 million, I'm looking at this going, okay, there has to be something good about it. If there's nothing good about it, why are fucking people spending the money on it, right? Like it I had to look behind you too. I thought I saw the coat move. But again, $400 million means that there's something good with it. Now, whether that be inflated numbers because of some backer pricing or whatever it comes out to, I don't think so. I think it's literally been an influx in the community and people trying to get other people to play the game, so there's, more people around and things like that. I think there's also one big thing that they did really negatively. I think they changed it, but they were selling these packages for like 120 grand or whatever the fuck it was, 86 grand or some bullshit like that. And so people were buying it, but then they were finding out that the ships that they were buying were concept ships. They weren't even introduced into the alpha. And so it's like a pledge for when you initially introduce that ship, then we'll give it to you type of thing. And there was nowhere that it was listed as that. So people were like,
if I can just stop you for a second. Fucking who? Who is spending this money?
Oh,
who has this money to spend?
Yeah.
Who? There are like some like 15-year-olds with pissed off parents calling a fucking credit card company, or like the Paul brothers are just like drunk.
Yeah.
Like who is spending this money?
And that was
being spent.
That was my next thing. Yeah. Where is this money fucking coming from? Right. So, okay. So I started digging down a little bit deeper. They changed it now. if you're buying concept stuff, a next big thing the company does is they're kind of predatory, and this is where the fucking the gotcha comes from. So what they do a lot of the time is they introduce a ship, and then what they'll do is say, hey, this ship costs X amount of dollars. Let's say $10. And they'll send out emails to all the people who are backers and pledgers and anybody who's referenced or whatever. Buy this ship now for $10 for the next 48 hours before we send it up to $45. And say, like, you'll be the first to get this ship, blah, 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 blah. You can get it at this discount price. So there's a lot of FOMA where it's like the fear of missing out, or FOMO, fear of missing out, where they like fucking people will just spend the money to get the ships. So with those two things right off the bat, I was like, okay, never mind. I'm going to back up on this. But then I started doing a little bit more and just checking it out. The game was supposed to introduce an insurance system where if your ship blew up, you had to spend, I think it was in-game currency, to get an insurance plan to recover your ship. That's not introduced into the alpha. It's not there. Because that was like the hardest thing about Elite Dangerous was just getting into the game. So it was like, I don't want to fucking get into the game and then be broke and can't fly a ship because of this insurance policy. They haven't introduced that. They don't know if they're going to introduce it. It's coming later, but they haven't said how it's going to work out. They also have put a lot of work into the different designs of the ship, the flying, the whole space sim of it, and there is a clear progression. Now, not a very fast progression, but a clear progression of them adding new stuff and introducing
taking
new
the
things.
steps towards it.
Right. So it's like, okay, so they are investing some money into the game. Now, how much it is, I don't know. We'll take a look at it. And then
the dollars that they've been wiping their asses with.
It's exactly.
They're just Scrooge McDucking through money. Oh, who put the toilet paper in here? Put it back in the game.
Yeah. And then the third thing, I guess, is the community. The community is it's filled with military people. It's filled with like space nuts, like people who like actually build rocket ships for fucking, Tesla and shit like that. Like there's a huge point of that community, and they help to drive the way that the game is designed around, certain things. Cool. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I think it would be worth the $65 or whatever for a pledge package. One ship pledge package gets you in, things. It's a lot of fun. It was an itch that hadn't necessarily been scratched in a while. I was loving it. It was fucking flying around in a ship. I met a bunch of people. They invited me into their clan and shit like that. They took me out on a bunch of missions to go they bought a brand new ship. They're like, we're going to take it out on a maiden voyage. Come with us. Sat me in a turret ship. We went and fought space pirates, landed down on a planet, got off, found a bunker, went and raided a bunker, got a bunch of gear. They took me out to this far out part of space, bought me a bunch of gear, got me all decked out in fucking Halo armor.
Get to suck their dicks.
No, and that's why I asked them.
Come here, let me spend some money on you.
That was my whole point. I was like, guys, this is fucking so much money. I was like, I know right off the bat the fact that you just bought a ship, right? And I'm looking at like the list and everything. I know that ship was like, probably 100 million credits or whatever, and you start with 1,000 credits. So I'm like, and it's not like you get fast money. Like a delivery mission to take a package from one planet all the way over to another planet nets you like 3,000 credits. And it costs you like 1,000 credits to refill your ship. You know what I mean? So it's like there's no way that there's this like the if you're spending millions and millions of credits, that's grind time. And I know that from playing Elite Dangerous that grind time is gross. And so I kept telling them, don't spend the fucking money on me. I was like, one, I don't really know if I'm gonna dig deep into this, and two, why? Just don't spend it, keep it. And they were like, no. When we first started playing the game, people did exactly what we're doing for you. They did for us. They took us around missions, bought us a bunch of shit. You want to shit? Exactly.
Well, they wanted to grow. They wanted to stay
or
relevant.
they would just keep pouring the Kool-Aid out and kept handing it around,
Yeah.
But a lot of the things they were saying is because it's alpha, two things happen. Any ship that you buy or have on a reset, you get to keep. Your inventory completely gets wiped out. And your money, you get to keep your money unless it's a massive update, like when they like swapped over this 1.17 or whatever the fuck it is now. When they did that, they reset everybody back to just having whatever ships they had initially bought and losing all their stock. So it was like, because it was a reintroduction of the world and the economy and things, as alpha games go. This is early access. Remember, things change all the time, and sometimes they have to do that wipe to get everything back to zero.
Still might make me throw up. But...
absolutely. But they were just like, so there's always a fear that all this shit that you're working for isn't going to exist tomorrow. So why keep it? Spend it. Fucking, if more people in the community are getting into it, spend the money on it so they can fuck around and have fun and maybe keep driving more people into it.
That's cool.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Now for the game. It is the most buggy piece of shit on the entire fucking planet. Everything that is beautiful about it also doesn't work. It's like, I died. I was on my ship. I lowered the ramp to go off my ship. Took 3 steps off. Ramp kind of freaked out a little bit. Fucking ship flipped over 3 times, landed on top of me, killed me. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Went to walk through an elevator. As I was walking through the elevator, the actual elevator itself just kind of phased out of existence, fell through, fell out into space, couldn't get back. I ran around.
This makes me want to play it.
Yeah, I ran around 2 hours with like a fucking candy bar clipped through my hand, and I couldn't do it. So every time I pulled up the gun, there was just this giant candy bar that just blocked my screen. Like,
Trevor, you're making me want to play this.
But there's fucking amazing points. When I was playing with the group of people, they took us up to low orbit, right? They were up there and they were opening up the back of the, like, they dropped the hangar bay so we could look at as we left. And then he thought we were in orbit, but we were just shy of orbit. And so he came out and like looked on it. It was like, all right, space block. And like, so the pilot was the first person to hop off. And he's like, hey, where are you going? And the ship just started falling to Earth. And it was like, oh, fuck. So like someone had to run back, get in the pilot sheet to come back up. But he was also in low orbit. So now he's just plummeting straight down to Earth. And so like two of the ships like race the entire time down to the planet to try and get this guy back in the fucking hangar as he's just like free falling back to Earth. And like the whole time, like we're 86,000 kilometers in the air. So it's like, it's going to take a long ass time because everything is in real time. So traveling from point A to point B may take 10 minutes in game because you're warping. But if you were to just travel from point A to point B, it'd take you 10 years. You know what I mean? So like there's actual mathematics that so he just fell until we finally caught him in low orbit. And it was just like one of those things, like, and it was one of those things like someone came down and he was falling and he was like, oh, you're going to go underneath me. Like, you need to grab me. So they pointed the nose up, but then clipped him and then he just flung out into space. So there's like, there's all these positivities about it, right? There's all these positive things about the game. And like any game,
I can tell you right now, you've already made your case. I can feel myself ready to buy this.
Sick.
But now I'm going to tell you, now I'm going to explain to you why this game is dangerous.
I know what the dangerous point is.
Drunk Brad did this. Now imagine me and you blacked out drunk at 4 a.m. and I wake up, I'm like, oh, cool, I can't buy a house anymore, but at least I have this spaceship.
Yeah. No,
that was so bad, but you're making it sound so good.
It was, and the thing about flying the ships is fucking fun. Leaving orbit, calling in on your comms to like be able to get into a landing pad, like having to wait for air traffic to let you go in, like having to call air traffic to get out, like in and out of these cities and like coming down to these planets and then these giant fucking open cities that you can fly through and all this shit out in the middle of these like frost-covered wastelands where like there's just a bunker down there with guys on turrets and you just gotta drop in, fucking run in military style, blow it up, get all the loot, get back on your ship and get out before the ships start coming down from space to shoot at you. Like, there is a lot of cool about it. Now here's the thing, and this is coming off of like having a good computer, having good graphics, having all these things, the game itself looks beautiful, but runs like shit. There are so many, but even the people said this last initial update that they pushed through, they were like, it set it back three patches ago. And it's just filled with bugs again. And they were like, they don't know why, and they're in the fixing process. So it's like joining now is also a good time to get introduced into stuff, but it's also a bad time because it's so buggy. And they were just like, and there's my first day, I crashed my ship, right? I'm like, okay, shit happens. So I talk into the community, how do you get it? Oh, you go back to this fucking place, you just retrieve it, you'll claim it, it's got a timer on it. However long that timer takes, it'll come back to the shop, then you can just fucking retrieve the ship. So there's a bug in the game sometimes with the server where you just can't retrieve your ship. And I'm like, okay, so as a new player with only one ship, what do I do? And everybody's like, log off and go do something else and come back later. Why the fuck? Why is that an answer? And they're like, there is no other way. You can reset your character and it'll reset it back to 0 and then give it. They're like, but it takes 12 hours. If you fuck off for 2 hours, there's a good chance the servers will catch up and you'll be able to retrieve your ship. Okay, all right. But that's just a bug that just exists in the game.
Maybe throw something.
There's also a thing where if you kill a friendly player, or you kill a friendly NPC that you're on a mission with doing like a bunker clear or whatever, a friendly player can decide whether or not they want to put a bounty on your head after you kill them. So then that bounty goes out to the entire system and anybody can accept that bounty to come and hunt you down. Yeah. So now then the next thing is if you kill an NPC, you automatically get a crime status no matter what. If you die to a bounty or to that crime status or whatever, or you die with a crime status on, you get sent to prison. There's a prison in the game. The prison has an 11-hour timer on it, real world timer. You can reduce your sentence by going deep in this prison. Yeah, exactly. And mining. Or you can wait for a specific time period where they shut the fans off and there's a little hole in the wall and then you can escape through prison. And you can escape with your bounty still on your head because you're still in crime status because you're a prisoner. Because you're still a fucking ship, fly off the planet, keep doing all your bullshit. So there's all these different like things to do. I've been watching people play it with people that do like role playing stuff. The guys that I had met, real cool guys, a bunch of military dudes. They all got out of the military, between the Marines, Army, Air Force, and they just play this game because it's fun. They have fun with that type of stuff, but they also do like
get into Space Force.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But they also do a lot of like role playing stuff. So like they have like, they've set up this thing, their Starfleet or whatever the fuck they call it. I don't know. Where they're like the medics of the universe. So they have this whole thing set up where it's like, if people are in need or whatever, then they can just chat and like, hey, I need help or I need revival. And they just have a full team that like goes out to do medic stuff and like recovers people back from like the edges of the world. And it's the same kind of thing like Space Rats. So Space Rats were in Elite Dangerous. So what'll happen a lot of the time when you're jumping to and from systems, you may get to a place where you just can't fucking stop to get gas. And a lot of people, bad things will happen. You'll just run out of gas. Well, there's a forum group called the Space Rats where you can go in and tell them your coordinates and your ship name and say, hey, look, I'm out. If there's any rats online, I need gas. I've got this amount of money. And sometimes they'll be like, nope, it's okay. You got a small ship. It's free. Sometimes they'll just do it for free no matter what. And then you just turn on just life support, turn off all your ship stuff and put a beacon up. And then like, it all depends on how far you are from the edge of the galaxy.
It's wild.
Fucking people will jump out to get you fuel. And so like that type of thing like is a community driven thing that you can see a lot of in Star Citizen. That next point is also you start seeing all these ships you want to fuck around with. And there's two things. You can rent ships in the game. You can rent a lot of ships to play around with. You can rent them for a day, for a week, or whatever, and they cost X amount of money to however long you rent them. The problem with that is that 24-hour rentals on like kind of fun ships are still like 86,000, and that's a few days worth of grinding out money in a sense. Unless you find a group like this, it's just like, oh, what you want to fucking go fuck around a tank? I'll buy you a tank. Like, no, I don't want to fuck around a tank. I just want to fly in space. Um, but then you look at the website, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, standalone ship for $40 doesn't sound that bad. You know what I mean? Oh, a standalone. Oh, that ship's badass. Oh, that'll cost me fucking 160 million credits in game, but I can get it for $110. Oh shit, $110 doesn't sound that bad. And that's where they fucking get you. And that's the scary part of the game. That's where the buggy mess, the still early access, the no idea if things are gonna change, and then you just fucking start dumping money in the game because that ship looks dope and I want to fly it around for $160. Now,
Scared. It's
if
up on my other monitor now.
if you get the
I'm
$65
scared.
plug package, you get a pretty
Oh.
decent ship. Or I think they even said like the best ship to buy for the best value is like getting the $70 pledge package for the Aegis or whatever the fuck it's called. It has the best cargo space, the sleeping quarters. It's pretty fast. It's nimble. It can do a lot of damage. And $70 is not. It's $5 more than like what you would spend for a new game, and so it's like the best bang for your buck. Cool. Yeah, bro. Yeah,
You're taking me into deep waters here, Trevor.
dude. I know. Now on the flip side of this, okay, all right, hold on. Let me take you back a second. Now on the flip side of this, I've also been playing No Man's Sky, and I haven't played No Man's Sky since it first came out on the PS4. That game was fucking trash, right? It was bad. When Next came out, I played a little bit because it had base building in it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting, but I didn't get into it. My buddy Kyle's been playing it, and I've been playing a shit ton of No Man's Sky right now. And that game is probably the better option when it comes to doing things like exploring the world. There is a co-op aspect of the game, so you can play with friends. There's base building. There's fucking exploring crazy ass shit. Not as intuitive and complex as Star Citizen, but for the money that you'd spend, at least you know you're going to get a complete package.
See, now the way that you just said that, you tried to make a case for it, but you also made me feel like a little bitch if I went that route.
I'm saying the two options I'm playing right now, and either one of them are good. The difference is that the low risk, low reward has better potential of being a game that can continuously be played, where the high risk reward just means in the next 6 months I'm going to be broke as fuck. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm most worried about. I'm most worried that like if I dig deep into Star Citizen, I'm never going to have a problem justifying spending the $200, $260 for a fucking massive ass ship. Not all the ships are purchasable online, right? Some of the ships you have to fucking grind out from game. But a large portion of the ships can be purchased on their standalone site. Now, would it be better to be ground floor for a video game if they finally do come out with it and you can say I was there during alpha? Like you don't get to be the guy who's like I fucking backed it and got my first ship day one, but you can be the guy that say I saw it all the way through and I stuck with it all the way through. Or you can be the guy who goes, I picked up No Man's Sky fucking 5 years after it launched or whatever when they finally fixed the game.
I see what you're doing here. Yeah, no. I'll fucking get it, Trevor. I'll get it. But if I get it, we have to peer pressure Sean to get it too. And we have to dedicate ourselves to this. Now I'm already in. I'm invested now. I'm in. And if we're going to do this, we should at least do it all the fucking way. And content.
I would love to. I have not been able to record with this game because I haven't really thought about it much. But I do know it's very taxing on the system because of how many bugs and crashes it does. I feel like recording might get a little... Yeah.
So what you're saying is I need to buy this game, and then we need to finish spending all of my money so I can put this into another one.
Yeah.
And then one is just for Star Citizen, and one is for Record.
Yeah, seriously. That's what I was looking at the fucking capture card that you got. I think that's the only good thing is you can put two computers.
Yeah, just straight pass through.
Yep, just for recording.
Yeah, everything else about it was pretty mediocre.
Yeah, very.
And there's probably better options, but the fact that I got it for like what, $80 or something like that, and it's just a pass, just a allegedly plug and play pass through. Cool.
Yep. That's I might have to hold off a little bit, but because I've already started spending money on Star Citizen. But no, but I think MOBO and CPU might be the next big thing on my list, other than that mic and the soundboard. But
yep.
I don't know how deep I'm gonna go into that. I mean, this is working fine, but I would really like the mixer and the whole setup.
This is working fine.
Yeah. It's
fine. It's fine. It's like when your girl says it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. But I broke it.
Well, and I just broke my microphone, so now I have to get a new one.
Giving it an option. But anyway, so I don't know if you want to get into. So I explained it to Sean because I was telling him about it too, and Sean was like, "I've never even heard of this game. How have you never heard of this game? How have you never heard of a game that has literally made more money than anything out there, and it's in early access?" Cyberpunk 2077. Now, for the most part, is a terrible mess of a fucking video game. Patches have come up. Everybody said they had bugs. I never ran into them.
I didn't either.
Audrey played on PS4.
Maybe once.
Yeah. Audrey played on PS4, and she said the worst thing was just driving through the city because it just lagged out. Then once they threw the patch in that like reduced the amount of cars in the city, she was like, "Oh, the game runs fine. I have no problems with it." But I had watched all the people clipping all the bugs that were happening. And so it was quite a bit, you know. It wasn't like it was the same person clipping his bad game. It was multiple people. So it's like, you know, okay, fine. I didn't have issues. Other people did.
One person on a single 1070 with ray tracing enabled. Just like, why is this game so bad?
That game cost $300 million to make.
Well, I mean, 100 million of it was probably just Keanu Reeves.
That's what I'm saying. Absolutely, 100% absolutely. But that's like Keanu Reeves and then the rest of the game, 300 million, and they made a fuck ton of money on that video game.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I actually really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it was a great game. I thought it was brilliant.
I had a lot of fun with it. God. The storyline was good. I think the biggest bug I ran into is there was one ladder that I couldn't climb that you needed to for a mission. And they're like, "Oh, you just need to to reset this bug, you have to go to your house, you have to change your outfit, and then just save and then load back in." And then everything was fine.
The mission where you go to Del Monte's, or what is it, Del Monte or whatever the fucking car that drove you around, at the very end where you're supposed to go in the garage area with all the other cars and you have to break them all down or whatever. So that got bugged for me and I couldn't get out of that mission.
Oh, okay.
So I had to reset it, and my last save was a fucking forever ago. That was one of the worst things I had ran into. And then weird clipping issues with driving and shit like that. But other than that, it was for the most part the game was fine. But oh my god, the story was and this is no hate on any particular person or anything like that. Was walking through fucking wherever that Chinese area was or whatever, and talked to a dude, and he was like, what are you out doing here? I was like, and he's like, "Oh yeah, come with me." Next scene is this guy just fucking railing me, and I was like, I was not expecting that.
Oh, fucking!
I was like, oh my god.
Or that's what was that scene where you have to go to the fucking this ninth cloud or something like that, and you have to talk to the hookers?
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember the name of the one because I'd been drinking, and so I was like,
dude.
"Oh, I think it's Angel," and Angel was a dude. I was like, "Oh no, oh no!" And he's fucking giving a lap dance. I was like, "No, this is not my character. This is not my character."
I just
Looking around,
sat.
babe, don't look at my screen.
I just
Not
sat.
what you think.
That's what I told Audrey, because Audrey played behind me. So like, I fucked the dude in the alley. I was like, God damn it! And then I went and talked to Angel, and she's just like, okay, are you telling me something? I was like, I'm just playing the game, babe.
Oh man, but it's beautiful how all inclusive it is.
Yeah, it really is. But it was just one of those things where it's like, you know, a game like that can make that amount of money or cost that amount of money and make that amount of money before this game is even launched. Star Citizen isn't even launched. You're $400 million. But then also you play the game and you look at it and you're like, what are you doing with 400 million? Oh, we have 100 people on staff. Okay, well, you may need to fire some people. Like, you know, the game, and they're like, the game is massive. And I'm like, the game is not that big. I was talking to the guys I was playing with. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, it's big enough. I was like, but in the grand scheme of things, like, they only have like 36 like worlds or some shit like that within game. And they want over 120 when it finally launches. And like, it's massive. Worlds are big. It takes a long time to get all the way around. But in the grand scheme of things, like, Elite Dangerous has every star system that we have in our galaxy that we can see. So they have a whole map, and it's like, it's fucking massive. Now every planet can't be land on, and like every point can't be like traversed. And I mean, they put a lot of work into it, like they did with Star Citizen. But there's still points like you can fly down to a planet and land, and there's nothing there. And there's nothing there for 100 kilometers. You know, so there's a little push and shove of like, what are you guys doing? How much are you introducing into this? They've introduced like a kind of like a deathmatch mode, where you take your character into it with gear. They've introduced a racing portion of it, so if you have a racing vehicle, you can go in and do like racing stuff. The game is not procedurally generated. So if you re-get a mission to go back to a spot, it's the same fucking mission. Worst part is the bugs with the missions. Sometimes NPCs just don't spawn, so you can't complete a mission, which kind of feels bad sometimes because then you spend money on like gear and outfitting and like hoping to recoup that cost, and then NPCs don't spawn, so you can't kill 2 enemies 2 out of 10. You're just fucking sitting there. But if every time you get like a 801 mission to go out and to like a fucking cruise ship that's getting boarded, it's the same mission over and over again. Just get in, kill 10 people, leave. So that it's not, the expansiveness of it is the community and the flying around, because everything's fucking fun and new, and wherever you go is all different. The missions are very repetitive in that nature, but with more people they become more fun. You can knock more of them out. So kind of give or take. I don't know, man. I think it's if you can justify, like I said, at least the $70 one. Like, you could get the $45 package, but the ship that's on it is actually really good. It just doesn't. I guess the problem is they introduced ships that have beds on them, so you can log out on your bed. So that's the best way to do it in space. If you lay down on your bed and you log out, it'll save your place there within the ship. But if you log out not in a bed, it just puts you back to the last station you were at. And so if you're out doing a bunch of shit or whatever, you get on your ship, log out, you'll be there. So the earlier ships that cost like $45 or whatever don't have that. So then you have to just say, is it justifiable to spend $70 on a video game on something you could spend $45 on?
Hey,
right?
I almost bought the Platinum Edition Battlefield, so 2042.
Almost, but didn't. Oh,
so
but you did spend.
Didn't justifies.
You did spend it on Borderlands, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you do it for Tiny Tina too, right?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, and haven't even played it.
Oh, I've played it. I just stopped playing it.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's the first Borderlands game I've ever been like, nah.
I did it with pre-sequel. I played pre-sequel, and then I was like, man, this is not hitting the spot. I'm gonna put it down.
And then pre-sequel I played like during quarantine when I didn't have any like internet connection to anybody, when I was just out in the middle of nowhere. So when your hands are tied, you can get
Me and Audrey have played every actual Borderlands together. And then when pre-sequel came out, I played a little bit and I was like, it's not fun. And then me and Audrey sat down and played it. I was like, okay, this is much better with friends.
Yeah.
I'm sure Tiny Tina's would be the same way. But so far, I was just like, just not hitting the spot, man.
Yeah, it was.
Guns aren't that entertaining. Enemies aren't that. It's too quippy almost. You know what I mean? It's just
there are elements in there that like kind of makes me smile and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
no, it's. I mean, there's
like the whole like the premise of it, the story. It's like Tiny Tina, blah blah blah, and they're just trying to distract her and shit like that. So she's just coming up with all this like. It's a little heartwarming. It's cool, especially like if you've played it and you're like already invested in these characters.
Oh yeah. From
how
years,
far does that take you?
Yeah, I got through a good portion of the beginning of the game. I don't know how big the game is in general. I killed Butt Stallion, went through the next, I don't know, 10 missions outside of that, and I got to a point where I was like, I'm okay. I don't need to play this. Yeah. I'll survive if I miss this one. If I watch it on a Let's Play, I'll be happy. So
yeah.
But that's another big thing I look for in video games is like the accessibility of multiplayer. How fucking easy is it to play with people? Because as I've started getting to this older point, I've started realizing the solo experience of video games is fine, but I'd rather just be entertained with friends because I just don't give a shit about video games in that aspect. I don't really care about story anymore. I skip through most cutscenes on especially if me and Audrey weren't playing Final Fantasy together and she wanted to know the storyline, I would have skipped through 90% of everything. Like I know the storyline like pretty well enough, but there's a lot of like in between talking where it's just like they just blah 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 about the fucking flowers and da da da, and she's just like, oh, it's very interesting. Like, come on, let's go, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. As you're talking, my screen right above you is just medium freight freelancer, light freight, reliant. Like they're already like targeting me for ads, Trevor.
Oh yeah. Well, how do they make 400 million? They gotta keep selling it.
Fucking. All right. Well, hey. Next episode, we'll be in the shit.
Yeah, that or we'll be broke. We'll be homeless. We
That's
won't be able to record.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, we won't be able to record because we sold it all.
I'll have a fucking dolly with my fucking system on it wheeled into a fucking Starbucks to use their Wi-Fi because I can't pay for my own anymore.
Yeah, like I said, if you're gonna get into it, I literally had to walk away for a couple hours the other day. I was playing it. I was just like, I'm done with the bugs. I gotta walk away because I'm getting frustrated, and I know there's no reason to get frustrated. If you die, you lose all your fucking gear, right? Everything that you purchased, yeah. Oh yeah, all your gear. It's like Arma, baby. It's like Arma. Man, all your gear is gone if you die.
Did you just see it on my face?
Yeah.
I just felt like a sinking feeling.
Yeah. So like
now the bugs aren't so funny.
Yeah. So like buying like, all your ships and your total capital costs that you have for your money will be there. Ships and money stay. But if you die, whatever you purchased on you or is on you at that time of death will die. So if your ship blows up and you have shit on your ship, that's all gone. You can store it all at your fucking local planet that you're at, which is dope because it always stays there unless they do a fucking massive wipe or something. But yeah, that shit's always there. So most time people buy a bunch of stuff, put a bunch of things on their planet, only take the stuff they need with them on the ship and with them on their person out to missions. And if they die, tough titty. If you die to like a weird glitch or something like that, like if you just like fall through the world or whatever and you alt F4 and come back, most of the time all your shit will be on you. But bugs still remain where things just go missing. I had a fucking AR on me and then it just disappeared into space. It's like, oh cool, that was a cool 30 fucking grand. Just gone.
Whew.
But ships are still there. The worst part is the more expensive ships you get, the longer they take. So there are ships in the game that if it gets destroyed, you are waiting up to 2 hours for your ship to come back. And so like part of the community is like, it's okay to rent a ship if you need to. It's also okay to maybe spend another $30 and get a cheaper ship to just knock around in. I'm like, God, that's where you fucking start catching people, man. Your best bet is to just get good at piloting and not fucking crash.
Get good.
Yeah, get good. That's exactly right.
Oh man.
But if you can handle that, if you can handle all the bugs, all the frustration, the fact that there's just times where you can't play and the server just keeps kicking you out. There's times where like the server kicks you out and you drop all your shit for no reason and then somebody else comes and picks it up.
To justify this, I feel like we have to record it.
Oh yeah.
We have to.
No.
We have to record it. To justify the amount of like rage of like losing your shit, but also of already spending the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to get something out of it, and that has to be the content.
No,
that has to be our reactions, and that has to be fucking Sean popping up and just saying no because I text him to download Star Citizen.
I absolutely feel like it'll be worth it because I have this much knowledge and you guys have this much knowledge and then there's people out there that have this much knowledge and I'm going to be leading. It's the deaf leading the blind at this point. And it's just be fucking fantastic because every one of us will be dead. It will just be constantly dead and it's going to be great.
All right, man. Oh, I'm leaning heavy into it.
It's only $70, right?
Yeah.
It's just that's fucking couple energy drinks, eating out one night. Don't fucking buy yourself a 24-pack of White Claws.
How dare you?
Just drink alcohol like a real man, for fuck's sake.
I do. That's the problem. I do both.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just drink the alcohol.
Nah.
All right, wrapping it up. Next time on You've Already Peaked Gaming, we take to the skies.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
This next one will be a doozy.
I just want to clip right now. Just
no, yeah. There'll be a lot of like a lot of nice things that you can take. Like my face, you lose all your stuff. What? You just floating into space. There'll be a lot.
Yeah, there's bugs where things
boys
don't
and
work.
girls.
All right.
Pray for us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.